Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us here at the 505 Sports Venture Foundation TV program. I want to thank Adrian, my producer behind the glass, and up the stairs in the president's chair, Steve Davis, for giving us this opportunity to come to you to talk about our mission, what name, image, and likeness means to New Mexico and the University of New Mexico, and the public in general. We have a really special guest, and we'll get to him in a second. But first, I want to talk to you about our group. And today is Lobo Give Day. Now, technically, 505 SVF is not a part of the Lobo Club or a part of the university, but of course we are tied at the hip. So it is important, as funding any other movement, any other effort at the university, to keep us in mind. Our organization, through its first 2 years of existence, has provided student athletes with over $2 million in NIL opportunities. Yes, that's $2 million. We need to be competitive. We need to increase that amount. And it's vital not only to the actual performance of the teams that we're involved with, but with the university and the program. Our ability to retain top-notch student athletes is important. It's vital. It's do or die. You've all heard of the transfer portal. Well, these young kids can come into their coach's office at any time and say, "Coach, I'm out of here." We've got a great group of student athletes here. We need to retain them. So, 505sports.org. It's Lobo Give Day. Think of us. Get on board. We'll be back after this short break.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field, in the weight room, but we'll need to bring him off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Whoa. My football's going. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for being with us, the 505 SVF program. I'm excited. I have a great guest here. Familiar to all Lobo basketball fans and a lot of other people in New Mexico, Jeff Grammer. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. It's a crazy season. It's a fun season, and I'm glad any opportunity to talk about this season, Lobo Hoops and Mountain West Hoops, is good.
Good. Well, I want to get to that in a second.
Yep.
But first, I am an old-time newspaper guy.
Yep.
I get the paper delivered in the morning. Coffee and the Albuquerque Journal now is my start to the day. The Journal, sports department, and paper in general has really kind of picked up its game in the last 6 months. Podcasts, columns, Lucas, blah, 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 blah. Talk about that.
Yeah, so obviously the newspaper industry, I think no big surprise, is kind of the the demographic that's still picking up the paper like you is fading away a little bit. And obviously we still want people to subscribe to the print edition. We get a lot of our revenue through that. But we really have to play a little bit of catch up at the Albuquerque Journal, frankly, in terms of the digital product. Now, even the papers around the country that have been out on the forefront of the digital product haven't really made it a great business model yet where they're making a lot of money, but that's where we're at. That's where the future is. We have to come to you. We don't expect people to come find us anymore and come find the Albuquerque Journal. We have to find a way into your hand. That's where people are reading and following their news is on their phones and podcasts, listening while working out, driving to work, whatever. So yeah, podcast, videos, a lot of more digital delivery than in the past. And we still need both. And you can subscribe. abqjournal.com/subscribe is the website where you can get all our deals.
Well, I can't emphasize, not only as a sports fan, as a veteran of life, how important local journalism is. Local journalism, sports, politics, education, crime. It keeps the politicians and the leaders of the locality, municipality, state, whatever it is, on their toes. You know, the New York Times, the LA Times, the national stuff, they don't care about Albuquerque. They'll put a story up that's dramatic or sad or something. It's the real journalists on the ground, boots on the ground, that make a difference. And so it's vital. If you are a Lobo fan, you got to subscribe. If you are a politician or into politics, local politics, you've got to subscribe. It's the only way to get the news.
I'd throw out one more topic. Obviously, business, we cover business, politics, all that stuff. But the entertainment industry in New Mexico is kind of going through the roof the last 5 to 10 years. And I think we do a pretty good job, too, of covering the entertainment industry in New Mexico.
Yeah, I was blown away. I was in an Uber the other day with a 25-year-old dude, and he was telling me about going to concerts and where they were. And, you know, I was really impressed with, you know, what he was talking about, how busy it was. So yeah, the Journal does cover that. There's good pictures. There's a lot of good stories, background. It's regular. So that and emptying the notebook is worth it.
I'm telling you, emptying the notebook has become it's the most read kind of regular product that we have multiple times that you can count on. The morning after every Lobo basketball game, for those that don't know, I do a pretty long column, which is just notes. It's basically just a bunch of notes. The origin of it was I was tweeting a lot, and I'm like, look, a lot of this needs to go to our subscribers. And so I found a way to sort of basically put a whole bunch of stuff I was putting out on social media into a form that people online can see.
Well, I got to give you more credit than just notes, because some of the statistical stuff must take a while.
Yeah.
You're going back to
a lot of historical context, right?
Yeah. A lot of historical. Isn't that incredibly time consuming?
It is, and a lot like you know, if on a game day, if they don't play till 8, and a lot of their games this year are 8 p.m. and later, a lot of the Mountain West games anyway, that whole day, a lot of times I'm kind of maybe working on some of that historical stuff even before the game, knowing that at some point this season, maybe this note comes up. So sometimes I'm doing a little bit of pre-work on that history, but yeah, it's a lot of historical context. And there's some good historical context on this year's team, a lot of milestones being reached, a lot of big legendary names being passed.
House, even MASH as a difference in let's start with MASH.
Yeah.
Difference in production, way different.
Way different.
You know, it looked like, as a fan, he hits 2 of the clutchest shots that you can imagine. Down 3, down 2, on the road, last minute and change. He comes out, he's got to be out of his slump. And he doesn't make a basket against San Diego.
He goes 1 for 10 until the last second layup. Yeah, and it is frustrating for a guy who does work hard, does kind of, you know, however you want to say a player should carry themselves. Frankly, it's up to the player a lot more than it's up to us. But MASH does the things I think you would expect a leader, a co-captain to do, all that kind of stuff. It's a little frustrating to watch him go through what he's going through. But the reality is, he is going through it, and he did hit those 2 shots in Nevada. He is in a slump, though. He has not found his shooting touch this year. It is fair to point out his minutes actually are down to about in the low 20s as opposed to the low 30s, the mid 30s like last year. His shot attempts overall are down compared to last year, but it doesn't change the fact that when you see a shooting guard who isn't known for defense missing a bunch of shots, there's a lot of fair kind of questioning of, well, what's he doing on the floor if he's not playing great defense and he's missing some shots? Richard Pitino's answer is absolutely right. A, I trust the guy. He's kind of earned a little bit of leeway. And B, look at the last 71 seconds of Nevada game.
Yeah, I've been saying that all year. I don't think MASH and allowed the public or even the Lobos to know how bad his injury was.
Yeah.
Hand injury, shooting hand, tough thing to overcome. Never missed a practice, boom, now he's missing games. I think that had a huge impact, and I kept saying we're going to need that kid to come up big down the stretch, whether it's Nevada, you know, it came right out of the blue, Mountain West time, tournament time. MASH is going to make big shots. I have confidence in him, but I feel frustrated for him. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, and I will point out, I have not yet seen an opposing team not still really pay attention to him. Nobody's just leaving him open.
Oh, no.
You know, he might have shot 1 for 10 at San Diego State. Dutcher didn't say don't guard him.
Don't guard him. Oh, no.
So he's still occupying some space out there and some mind space of the opposing scouting report.
I look for MASH to have a big game tonight. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities.
But it's the people who care
that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach,
My teacher, my older sisters,
my grandma,
my brother, my tutor,
my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
so that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
ripped,
plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We're back. Special guest in the studio, Jeff Grammer, beat writer for the Albuquerque Journal, Lobo beat writer. We just discussed Jamal Mashburn Jr. The bit, not a surprise because he was highly touted, but I guess a surprise because he's so good, JT Toppin.
He has been unbelievable. I've been sort of chasing the last week or two, sort of how good he's been, right? Early in the season, we started looking at where he ranked among freshmen in Lobo history, and we knew the double-double benchmark was a good one to chase for a while and see how close he could get to Kenny Thomas. Well, he passed Kenny Thomas now. Where is he in terms of Mountain West history? 25th season right now of the Mountain West Conference. If he is a guy that right now in my mind is a second-teamer for sure, still 5 games left for everyone, so you can move up or down on this list, but he is at least a top 10 player in the conference right now, in my mind, as a freshman. If he is to move up to first team, there's only been 2 freshmen in the history of the Mountain West Conference that have ever been freshmen making first team all-conference. That was Kawhi Leonard in 2010, and that was Anthony Bennett in 2013. I will actually note that Anthony Bennett, who went on to be the number 1 overall pick, I actually had him on my second team that year because he had a great non-conference. I thought in league play he actually backed off a little bit. But you're talking about him pushing the threshold of first team. His numbers deserve it, by the way. Before we get into his numbers in league play, even if he makes second team, there have only been 4 freshmen who have ever made second team. And so Andrew Bogut being one of them, who after his sophomore year went on to be a number 1 overall pick. So you're talking pretty rare air where JT Toppin already is. I think he's at least a second teamer. 6 freshmen ever have been first or second team. He's going to be one of those. He will be the 7th. Will he be the 3rd as the first teamer? It's possible because if you look at, you're supposed to consider just league play for the All-Conference Award. He is leading the league right now in rebounding. He is leading the league in blocked shots, offensive rebounding. He's second in field goal percentage. He's the only player averaging a double-double. He's in the top 10 in steals. He's a guy that is doing it on both ends. You talk about the 2 Player of the Year candidate big men in this league, which is Gray Osabar from Utah State and Jaden Ledee for San Diego State. JT Toppin's numbers right now, other than scoring, JT Toppin's numbers are better than theirs in rebounding, block shots, everything you need except the scoring. And the scoring's not that bad. He's at about 13 points a game.
Not at all. I mean, I know I have a little bit of a prejudiced view, but I think he is first team. A lot of politics involved.
Sure.
You know Stevens, you know Osborne, and you know Ledee.
Yep.
They're on the first team.
Yep.
Nothing's changing that. Now you go in with the Degenhardt, Blackshear, you know, the usual suspects. You keep JT off. Well, again, this goes to one of the things I've been saying when people keep telling me if the Lobos win 2, they win 1 in Boise, they split. You can't do that. They got a game tonight, and we're going to get to that. But it's one game. He's got 5 league games left, and then the tournament. So anything can happen going forward. It's fun to speculate. He's a great kid. By the way, there's a rumor that both his mom and his grandma will be at the game tonight.
Nice.
If they're here, you Lobo fans, if you see them, go say hi. They'll be sitting, I think, behind the south basket in, of course, JT Toppin jerseys.
Very cool.
So that is very, very cool. All right, so we got JT, and now we've got Colorado State in town.
Yeah.
Big game.
Not only a big game for the Lobos, and because they're ranked, Colorado State is back in the top 25 at number 22. It's just a big game because every game in this conference is a big game. But if you look at it, where league play started, Colorado State was the hot team coming in. They knock off the Lobos to start league play. Since then, though, and I know Pitino kind of mentioned it yesterday in his press conference, that they're 2 different teams. Well, their records are right there even pretty much, and everything looks pretty even. But Colorado State's really taken a step back offensively. As good as they looked offensively in that January 2nd game in Fort Collins, they've gotten better defensively, but they've backed off offensively. I do think the Lobos have a good opportunity tonight. Doesn't mean it's a gimme by any stretch, but they're going to be favored. I think by 5.5 is what the line is right now, and that's fine. That's probably a fair number right now. They can't lose another one at home. It's not going to cost them. In my mind, I think they're in the NCAA tournament. But man, you lose one more home game, and then you're talking, you might be in the realm of Dayton in the first 4 and all that kind of stuff. You get one more quad 1 win, which tonight is an opportunity for that. I think you're in really comfortably.
Well, you mentioned it because Pitino brought it up yesterday. Both the Lobos and Colorado State are kind of different teams.
Yeah.
I think that game was 8 points, but that was not indicative. Lobos got blown out.
Yeah,
they were down huge. Crowd was not a sold-out crowd. Crowd was going wild. Couple of factors. House got in foul trouble. I think he played 18 minutes. True.
And he was out the decisive second half stretch,
right,
where really the game separated in about an 8-minute span. House was on the bench for I think 6 or 7 of those 8 minutes,
right,
and that was really when the game turned.
Game turned on House, foul trouble. He's been a little better at that. He's been much better at that, in fact. True was sick.
Yep.
Played 6 minutes. He's been a big competitor, although his 3-point shooting is about half of what it was in the non-conference.
But you still lead him out there.
Got to have him.
Yeah.
Super, just a street smart basketball player.
Absolutely.
The other guy who I'm just have lots of admiration for is Mustafa Hamza. That dude struggled so badly. 1 for 24 from 3, and he's a 3-point shooter. His shot went away. He had no confidence at all. Defense, loose balls. He scored 2 points in Colorado State.
Yep.
Well, overmatched, at least looking physically. The physical look at San Diego State. He had 11 rebounds.
Yeah, and
he's double digits.
Yeah, and he went up head to head with Jaden Ledee a few times where he held his own. Now there were a few times Jaden Ledee got the best of everybody, including Amzil, but I think Mustafa playing the 5 to me has been just a big surprise, a big, I would have never guessed it kind of moment in my mind. When he got here, I thought he was going to be a stretch 4. I wondered if he'd ever get down low and bang and get rebounds. Not only is he getting rebounds and playing the 5 pretty well, you talked about his early season struggles. We mentioned earlier about Mash going through these struggles, and he at least has 2 years at UNM where he was the leading scorer. He has some track record. Mustafa got here and nobody knew him. All these Lobo fans just see this guy that's supposed to come in and hit all these shots, and for the first 10 games of the season wasn't hitting anything. There were groans coming from the pit stands about, oh man, he missed another one, right? For him to overcome that when he was the new guy and didn't have that kind of, I guess, track record with the fans yet, really admirable for a guy to get not only get through that, but reinvent his role, really what it was envisioned coming in. To where he is now, possibly, I'm trying to think around the league. Mustafa Amzil is probably the 6th man of the year right now in the Mountain West Conference.
Certainly could be up for consideration, if not the odds-on favorite. All right, we're going to take one more break, and we'll be back with our final segment. We're going to talk a little bit about what we think is going to happen tonight. Stay with us.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. I can show that you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Okay, thanks for staying with us through the break. We're here with Jeff Grammer, beat writer from the Albuquerque Journal. Final segment. Let's cut right to it. What happens tonight against Colorado State?
All right, so first off, I'll kind of cut to the chase and say I do think the Lobos win tonight. Isaiah Stevens is good enough where I think they'll keep the Rams in it even if the Lobos get hot. But I just don't think they have the firepower that they showed in the preseason, that they showed in that January 2nd game, frankly. Patrick Cartier had a great game against the Lobos the first go-around. I don't know that he does that again. I really would expect, if you're looking for somebody in Colorado State to watch for, I think Nate Clifford is a lot better right now than maybe he was earlier in the season. I think he is a guy that could have a big game tonight and keep them in it. But Nate Clifford, Joel Scott, their two forwards, and Isaiah Stevens, those three guys will keep Colorado State in it. We're looking at a number. I do think the Lobos can probably get to 80. And if the Lobos get to 80, keep the Rams at around in the 70 to 75 range, it could be about a 5-point game. And that's what the number says, right? That's what Vegas is saying right now. So let's go 80 to 75 Lobos as a prediction.
All right, there you go. I think the one thing that we had talked about earlier, and you mentioned the two power forward guys,
Yeah.
Cartier and Joel
Scott.
Mustafa Amsil's a factor now.
Yeah.
He wasn't a factor then. So I feel much, much better because Cartier killed us.
Yes.
He just drove at Willie at threes. He won't do that.
And early in that January 2nd game, both Nelly and JT got off to good starts. They were drawing fouls. If you remember, there's been a few of them, but if you remember, the worst free throw shooting game of the year for the Lobos was that game. They hit 4 free throws.
Right.
Lowest number of the year, and JT and Nelly were missing a bunch. So then they kind of, I don't know if they got gun shy or the guards stopped passing to them or what, but early on, the bigs were having a good game.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was sitting next to a kid, 23, 24, hair down to his waist, smelled like a cannabis factory, had lived in the East Mountains in Albuquerque, was a Colorado State fan, and he kept saying, "Oh, we're just a bunch of little guys. We can't play with you," in the beginning of the game. Because the Lobos just looked that good in the beginning. And then it stopped. House.
Foul
True.
trouble. Yeah.
We didn't have Amzil yet. So we'll see. I also feel like a Lobo win, but I think we're going to have one of these, like, white knucklers. I see
so?
maybe a
Yeah.
last-second shot, a tip-in, JT, or my guy Nash.
Yeah.
My Nash on a fadeaway 12-footer, bounces on the rim, goes in, Lobos win.
MASH will have another game or two, I think, in the next 5 or 6 games that kind of remind people, okay, well, that's why MASH is out there. But yeah, JT's been steady. JT hasn't had the big late game shot yet. Maybe he's due one of those.
We'll see. All right, so we got a couple minutes. We go from Colorado State, home against Air Force, a week off, and then Boise and Utah State sandwiched around
Fresno State.
Back here in a bit. What's your gut tell you?
They're not going to win a regular season title. I think Utah State put themselves in a really good position to at least share a title with their win against San Diego State. I don't think the Lobos will win the Mountain West, but if they get 5 games left, they're definitely, well, I shouldn't say definitely, nothing's definite, but if they get to 3 home games and they can split one of those 2 road games, if you're talking 4-1, they might be in the share of a title kind of realm. And I do think that they have a good chance of picking up one of those 2 road games. If they go 4-1 in these last 5, then maybe they are in that share title.
Well, if they go 4-1 in the last 5, and the one of the 4 is Utah State,
yes,
that makes a big difference. The Mountain West doesn't award; they'll be called winners if they tie.
Yeah.
It's just the way they're seeding.
Yeah.
And if the Lobos go to Logan and beat them again, they win the tiebreaker.
Yep.
So I just have this feeling that Utah State's going to lose a game they shouldn't. They have a very easy schedule now the rest of the way. But I have a feeling they're going to lose a game. There's going to be something like a 4-way tie here.
You think so?
I think the league, the thing that's impressed me is the pundits have been saying 6, 5, 6. We've never seen 5, 6 teams. Well, now it's kind of settled in.
Yeah.
All the brackets have 6 teams. It's like, and there's still games to be played. I mean, where's UNLV in this? I don't want to play UNLV at Thomas and Mack. I don't care if there's 100 UNLV fans there, because that's what they'll be. No one in Vegas cares about UNLV. No one cares. But if they get into the semifinals, who knows? I don't want to play them with those the brothers, and they're on the outs. And obviously, if 6 teams do qualify, that means at least one of them plays on Wednesday, which is outrageous.
Yeah, nobody's ever won from the bye game, from the 4 days and since the Mountain West has been around. So nobody's ever won outside that top 5 seed.
That's cool. Paul Weir took his team to the championship game against San Diego State. Almost pulled it off. All right, listen, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
We'll get you back here before the
Tournament.
postseason.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be, I want to thank you. Now, everybody out there, we started out today. It's Lobo Give Day. We need your help. We need your help to retain our young players. Men's basketball is the best example. We need your help to revitalize Lobo football with the assistance of Bronco Mendenhall, of course, or the leadership of Bronco. We're in a great position. We're talking about beating another top 25 team tonight. The pit is jumping, sellouts, 12, 11, 13,000, normal. It's great. We can keep it that way. We have to keep it that way. So again, I'm asking for your help. 505 Sports Venture Foundation. We need your support. We have memberships as low as $20 a month. Get access to the website. Get invited to special events. I can't overemphasize this. We're in a great position, New Mexico. So join us. It's 505sports.org. You can find me courtside at any game. You want to talk about it, we'll love to meet you. We go to coffee, we go to lunch, we go to dinner. We need your help. I can't overemphasize that. 505sports.org. We'll see you next week. Thanks for being with us.